Jayden Daniels with his second start for the Commanders against the Giants Sunday, and the offense was much better in week 2. They averaged close to a yard more per play and converted 50% of their third downs. As a result, Washington had a time of possession over 37 minutes, much higher than week 1. Mina, how'd the Commanders get right?
They ran the ball. Funny thing about that 6.2 yards per play, Brian Robinson actually averaged nearly 8 yards per carry. But a lot of that did have to do with the quarterback, because you saw similar things to what you saw in college. The effect that his presence, his threat as a runner, the zone read has on linebackers, the way it displaces them, and then also his ability to read out defenses on RPOs. You saw consistently Brian Robinson Jr. benefiting from Jayden making the correct call in terms of identifying defenders in conflict and handing him the ball into light boxes. Look, I've been critical of Cliff Kingsbury in the past, but you are seeing he is a good run game designer like he was at Arizona, and I think the Commanders are seeing the fruits of that now.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we wondered exactly how he would handle this offense, and so far, at least in a small sample size, to Mina's point, it's been pretty good.
Okay, let's talk about this. It's been more than just pretty good, because Jayden Daniels has been the best quarterback of the rookie class right now, and it's not even close. It's not even close. Everybody was so high on Caleb Williams, and honestly, rightfully so. I'm high on Caleb Williams, quite frankly. But I said, listen, look out for what Jayden Daniels will be able to do in the NFL, and look out for Cliff Kingsbury as well. Now, I'm not going to act like the Commanders and Jayden Daniels have just lit the league on fire right now. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, have you seen what the Commanders and Jayden Daniels are doing? That would be disingenuous. But when we are grading them among other quarterbacks, it's very clear. Jayden Daniels, this is PFF. And listen, I don't live and die by PFF's ratings. I just don't. You have to put things in context. I say this all the time, and you just can't look at just the stats. It's so much more deeper than that. But some stats do tell a story, though, right? It's not like stats you just throw them out completely. Like no one's gonna say that Anthony Richardson, for instance, is a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford, right? Like, you're just not going to say that. But that's why you want to put in context. But when you are talking about a short 2-game sample size, which is all we have to go off of right now, and we're comparing them specifically to other rookie quarterbacks, look at Jayden. Jayden is above, of course, as you can see, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Will Levis, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams, right? It's Jayden Daniels is ranked 24th, and you have Caleb all the way down at 31, right? And then you got Skylar Thompson, Bo Nix, and Bryce Young, right? So not really ahead of many others. And Jayden Daniels, quarterback offensive rating, however it's exactly, defined. He's 57.3. Caleb is 44.3. All right, 13-point difference. That is pretty large. And Bo Nix, 42.8. And you could make the argument that Jayden Daniels has the least amount of weapons, has technically the inferior offensive head coach, and you think of that because he doesn't have an offensive head coach. He's got Dan Quinn, Caleb Williams. Everybody was so high on what Shane Waldron was able to do with Geno Smith and all those weapons and the defense that Caleb has and all of this, and Caleb has not looked good. I pointed out that we can find some silver linings and what Caleb can do and give all these guys some grace, but it hasn't panned out for Bo Nix and Jayden and Caleb Williams right now. Jayden Daniels, at the minimum, looks the most comfortable and the least frazzled. You've had moments where Bo Nix and Caleb Williams have been confident, have looked like they were running that offense and looked more composed and looked like they're a little bit less shell-shocked. But the truth is, I don't know if I've ever really saw a moment where Jayden Daniels really looked lost and confused and overwhelmed. He's kind of been comfortable from the jump, almost like uncomfortably comfortable, quite frankly. And I think that's a testament to who he is as a quarterback, who he is as a person, his level of experience, his confidence, his comfortability, as well as what Cliff Kingsbury has been able to do to help set him up. he obviously is relying on the run, and he obviously has what I forget what his completion percentage is, like in the 70s, I think. Like, he's been incredibly efficient. They're not challenging him just yet. They're not taking tremendous risks. They're not taking tremendous chances. They're bringing him along smoothly, which is appropriate, right? Like, that is a good way to do it. If you're not going to sit the quarterback for a year, don't throw him out there and just say, get to work, here you go. Go out there and win us the game. The Buccaneers was an interesting first game, probably a hard first game because the Buccaneers are going to be gritty. They're going to be, kind of a bully team and not go over easy. Then you got to face the Giants. The Giants, as the Commanders well know, they are not a good team. You would like to have seen a more convincing win, a more confident win, a larger win, especially with the Giants down with their kicker and all of that. But I'm still seeing progress. I'm still seeing growth. And I think you're going to continue to see them grow. The offense as a whole, the team as a whole, and of course, Jayden Daniels. But and this is no statement on the season as a whole or careers as a whole. But to a certain point, we have to just look at what we have. And right now, Jayden Daniels looks like the better quarterback. Again, sorry, Commanders fans, I'm not going to say that he is the best quarterback. He's going to be the best quarterback, and I'm not going to say that because I have no idea. I truly have no idea. I believe he has the potential to be a great quarterback and a legit bona fide quarterback in the NFL and win some games and fight for some divisions and conference championships and all of that. I believe he can be that dude fully, but it's going to take some time to get there. And I think seeing how comfortable he is right now, right, I think is awesome. He's not stacked with weapons. He's not stacked with an iron curtain offensive line, right? Like, he's just not. And the fact that he's still so composed, I think is really awesome. He's had some plays that everybody thought Caleb Williams was going to be able to do, and he hasn't so far. I think Caleb will be able to do them eventually, but he hasn't. And yet here Jayden Daniels is actually doing those plays. I want to see him be able to develop the pass game more. I love that they're not relying on him so heavily. It is a balanced offense. They are establishing the run game, which matters tremendously to me. I talk about that all the time, no matter who you are, no matter who's your quarterback, no matter what your offense is. Establishing the run will always be important to me. And I love when we see quarterbacks throwing the ball 25 times or so, right? Once you start creeping up to 35, 40, 45, you're getting into trouble. Look no further than how Andy Reid conducts his business with Patrick Mahomes, and looking how they obviously keep winning those games. So that's what I'm loving what Cliff Kingsbury is doing with Jayden. And I've said this as well. I do want to see Jayden get out of trouble a little bit more in terms of taking extra hits. He is taking some hard hits that I would really prefer him not to. I know it's part of his game, but I would just love to see him be more strategic with it. Just, get the yard, slide, get out of bounds, just do what you got to do. Don't take these hits. He kind of looked like he was knocked out of the game for a second against the Giants, and it's just you just don't want that. You don't need that. It's unnecessary. These guys got to learn that it's okay to live for another down, right? That's how it goes. It's not to remove that aspect from his game. I'm not saying that, but it just seems that it's so hard for these hyper athletic quarterbacks to just be more strategic. It's like they can't give it up, no matter how many quarterbacks they've seen have their careers taken from them or shortened because of all these hard physical hits. They just you can't get it out of them. And I want the best for Jayden Daniels, and so that is something that was my concern going into this season, and I just want to see him continue to develop that aspect and just truly be comfortable. I want to see him use his legs and his mobility in a way in service of passing, right? Not out of his get out of jail free card. It's still great to have in your back pocket, but I would like to see in a lot of ways, outside of obviously the field opening up for him and him able to just rip off a great run, but get down. And if not, then I want to see him use his legs to be able to buy some time in the pocket, still go through his progressions. And then if he can't, you got to make the decision. Do I throw it away, or can I fight for a couple of yards, 2, 3, 4, 5 yards? But if you're going to fight for those 2, 3, 4, 5 yards, you don't take the extra contact. Then if that's all you're going to be able to get, you just throw the ball away, right? You just check it down. You throw it at someone's feet, whatever it may be. That's what Patrick Mahomes does now. and it's very, very smart. It's strategic, and it is the way to go, right? I've said this in the very beginning with Jayden. You want to look more like Patrick Mahomes and less Lamar. These days, Lamar has way more highlight plays than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, wins way more games and way more rings. I think we all know what you rather have. So, but all in all, really positive signs for Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. I still struggle to find concrete long clips on the Washington Commanders. I mean, my Lord, this clip was like not even a minute long. And I just went and talked for the last like 10 minutes because I want to talk Commanders. I want to talk Jayden. I want to get down to it and talk more about it. But they're not giving me a lot to go off of, unfortunately. And it's frustrating. There's just so much more talk about what's going wrong with Caleb Williams rather than what's going right for Jayden Daniels. And I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you guys probably about a month or two ago that this was the uphill battle that the Commanders and Jayden Daniels was going to have in terms of media perception. And I'm hopeful that the Commanders and Jayden can kind of break through so we can get some better conversations around what's going on with him, right? Where the progress is, what are some of the weaknesses, what do they need to work on? I just want to see more deeper conversations, whether it's with Con Cowherd, First Things First, Dan Orlovsky, any of these guys out there. So hopefully, we can get some momentum going. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jayden Daniels' start to the season and how he is truly outshining the other rookie quarterbacks? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.